Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurfaida, and this is my knowledge about sign language. What is a true language? What is a true language? First, you should know a sign language is a true language because the language system allows a signer to comprehend and produce an indefinitely large number of grammatical sentences in signs. This feat can be accomplished with a limited numbers of signs, of vocabulary and system, syntax and semantic. Secondly, a signing person has a true language if that person can communicate by sign whatever can be communicated by speech. This is reasonable because we can all agree that people who communicated in speech do have language. Language on based on speech compared to language based on signs. There is of course a difference in the physical means of communication. Signing involves light and speech involves sounds, but a particular physical mode is not an essential aspect of language. Of course, language must depend on some physical mode for its use and learning, but that mode need not be limited to sound. The mode can be visual, as in signing, or even touch, as in language used by deaf blind. 2. Complete and incomplete sign language. Research on sign language seriously began for the most part in 1960s when linguists and psycholinguists addressed themselves to this newly discovered area. The findings show that signers of such sign language as American Sign Language, French Sign Language, British Sign Language, and others can indeed communicate in sign whatever is expressed in speech. A sentence like that shown at the end of the previous section can be expressed through all of this language. Other sign language may be incomplete syntactically or limited in terms of vocabulary. Such incomplete sign language are typically found in developing countries. Also, in some developed nations, sign language may suffer from deficiencies. In Japan, for example, where the national government until recently prohibit the teaching and use of sign language in public schools, standardization and vocabulary are problems. Speed of signing and speaking sentences is comparable. Not only can a fluent signer of a complete sign language such as American Sign Language or ASL sign whatever a speaker can say, but the signer communicates at about the same speed as a speaker does. The speed at which signer produce sentences in a sign conversation tends to be similar to that at which speakers produce sentences in a spoken conversation. This occurs even though a signer as does a speaker has the ability to exceed the speed. Dialect and foreign accent is in sign language. There might even be strong dialectic differences within a language from region to region within a country. For example, signers from Paris have difficulty in understanding signers from Lyon and vice versa. The readers may be surprised to know too that American Sign Language and British Sign Language or BSL are not mutually intelligible. American Sign Language actually has more in common with French Sign Language than with British Sign Language because ESL was derived from French Sign Language early in the 19th century.